Hey, well, first thing, thanks for talking baseball. I really appreciate that. Getting Evan to get off the Miami Heat in the morning is kind of tough.
Oh, God. I mean, Evan breaking down basketball. I don't know if he did it today or better yet, fishing and gay porn. He did a wonderful job with that last week.
That was actually a really good show.
It was a good show? Or maybe you would know.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh, no,
but,
then I'm wrong.
I don't know if you've watched it, but the last, I think it's 3 or 4 years, the Jays have went up and played 2 games in Montreal. At the very end.
Yeah, they're playing St. Louis there right now. I was aware of that. Yeah, go ahead. Let me hear.
Yeah, and did you see the ovation that Vladdy Jr. got last night when he came in the game?
Vladdy Jr. is a big prospect in the Toronto system. I did not see that. Would make sense. Let me hear. Go ahead. Fire away.
Oh, it was great. And then Vladdy himself put it on Twitter how much he appreciated it. And I'm more looking at it's time Tampa moves up there, is it not?
No question about it. They have a lease, though, in that Tropicana Field. That's another 7 or 8 years. So they can't move there that quickly. They have that lease agreement. What was the attendance in Montreal for these 2 games against the Cardinals?
It's sold out. It's sold out. I got a buddy up there, and he was looking at tickets, and he said you could get them, but they were like upper deck. You're looking at a couple $100. So
really? So they played 2 games. They got a game today, and they played a game yesterday?
Yeah. Correct. Hey, and what's the over-under on the Jays this year?
80.5.
Oh, geez. See, I'm worried, come middle of May, or say June, what are they going to do with Donaldson if they're not in it? Is he gone?
Well, I mean, that's a question a lot of those kind of teams, good call, Chris. That's a question a lot of those teams have to answer. The Orioles are going to have to answer that too. A lot of these teams that have big players who might be in the process of walking, the Nationals won't do anything, so forget them. And the Angels won't do anything, not that Trout's in the process of walking. But Machado and Harper, you got to concern yourselves with. But Harper will stay. It's Machado and Donaldson with those 2 teams. You have to wait and see. Let's see. Ari in Brooklyn. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Ari, good afternoon. How are you today? What's going on? What do you have for me?
What's up, Mad Dog? How you doing?
Hello, Ari. How you doing? What's happening now?
Good. All right. I want to get to the Mets. I think, for the Mets, it's really simple this season. There's two things need to happen if they want to do anything. I think they for sure have the talent, but they need the pitching to stay healthy. They need everybody, the whole starting rotation to give you at least 25 starts. That's Matz, Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, and I guess the 5th guy, maybe Wheeler or something. They need 25 starts minimum from all those pitchers.
Let's forget about the 5th starter. Wheeler starts the year in AAA.
Yeah. I was just saying whoever takes that spot also, just because he saw it happen last year. Everybody got injured.
Well, let's do it this way. The Mets need 30. They need the Mets need 56 starts out of the top 2, and they need 50 starts combined out of Matz and Harvey. That gives them 106 starts with the 4 pitchers. They got to figure out a way to get 50 more starts out of that, those last 2 or 3 guys. Maybe they get 15 Lugo, 15 Wheeler, something like that.
Mix and match a little bit with that. Maybe go to a 6 starter every so often. And also, the big key for the Mets offense this season, they need Cespedes to play 140 games minimum, because you see what happens when he's on the field for them. They, when the pitching is going well and they have Cespedes going, they can win. They need Cespedes to play 140 games at minimum at a high level, because everybody else in the lineup, they're decent, but there's nobody that sticks out.
I know they need the presence.
They need Cespedes.
Listen, 100% right. The Mets' health the Mets' deal is about health. It's as simple as that.
That's it.
It's about health. Good call, Larry. If they're healthy, they're going to be very dangerous. And Stevie, I just made a play, and I think you'd agree.
Let me hear.
I made a lot of plays today, but the one I did make, 25-1 odds, I picked the Mets to win the World Series.
I like that. I think they actually have a chance to win the division. I'm not kidding.
Well, if you're going to take a team like that with the big number, you got to take a team like the Mets, because if they make the playoffs, their pitching could win them the World Series. Mm-hmm. That's the logic. Now, I agree with you. They could be dangerous if they keep those starters healthy, and they're due for good luck. Let's be honest. They could challenge Washington. I'm not adverse to thinking that. Yeah. I'm not adverse at all.
I heard Steve Phillips was on, I think it was with Gross over the weekend. I was listening, and he made a good point. And take it for what it's worth. I mean, who knows how important this is, but I think there's some merit to it. He basically was saying that, he toured all these spring training spots over the course of the spring, and he said the Nationals was like one of the clubhouse that stood out to him where there was really no connection with player to player. There was a bunch of guys like on their phones, no interaction with each other. I thought that was very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
No kidding. And so nobody
now,
was...
sometimes we read too much into that kind of stuff, but, maybe it was just one of those days that we're just tired at the end of camp. Who knows? But I thought that was worth noting.
Yeah, we'll have him on Thursday. Where we go. All right, if you had to take one over or one under, which one do you like the best? Take one of each.
I like, as far as an under, I mentioned this to you a couple of times. I think Texas under is one that's attainable.
76.
Yeah, and because I think that they're going to struggle. They didn't do much in the offseason to improve. I think they're going to struggle and sell off some of their parts. So I look at that as one. I would consider the Dodgers as an under, and as far as overs go,
95.5 for LA.
Yeah, I'm still kind of stuck on the Rockies.
82.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took all three. So,
you did. So, give me.
Yes,
so you got the Mets, the Rockies.
No, I didn't take the Mets.
You didn't take them. You just made
okay, here's another one for you. I had a choice in the American League East. It's tricky. I can't take the Red Sox or Yankees, as you know.
You took Toronto.
They were 80.5, or the Orioles at 72.5. Which way do you think I went?
I bet you went Blue Jays.
I went Orioles.
Oh, you did? I'm surprised. How come? I thought because you could get into the Blue Jays.
Because one reason is I had the Blue Jays last year and lost.
Well, maybe all the reason to take them again.
Here is the best reason. The Blue Jays could play well and win 78. The Orioles could stink and win 73. 73 would get you cover. 78 would lose with the Blue Jays.
I guess there's some logic there.
I mean, the Orioles could. If the Orioles went 73 and 89, that's not playing well. 16 games under 500,
yeah,
you win your bet, 72.5.
The risk with that is, of course, if they really struggle and underachieve early in the year, then they're probably going to start unloading, right?
Well,
but by the same token, you could still do that and still hit your numbers. So that's not a bad idea.
And not only that, they didn't unload Machado in January. What makes you think they're going to unload him in July?
Yeah, well, I guess it all depends on what they could potentially get back. But.
Well, who would trade a lot to get Machado? I mean, who would give them anything?
Well, you would have to get, obviously, assurances that he would.
He wouldn't. He's signed with the Yankees, and the Yankees wouldn't trade for him. Because the Yankees know they're going to get him in 2 months anyway. So what team would give the Orioles a lot for Machado? It doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't. Would you?
Probably not.
You got him for 40 games.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but not a bad idea.
There you go. That was my thinking. We'll get John Harper on in a sec. Here's Steve Sports Bite on Mad Dog Unleashed.
Mad Dog Sports Radio.